Calamity Joe. Welcome back to a YouTube live stream on the Calamity Joe YouTube channel. We are on my survival legacy world, and I need to dump some stuff right now. Give me a sec. There was a zombie in the sonic screwdriver. Is there one in here? No. That's a bit weird. That's very weird, in fact. A zombie in the sonic screwdriver. Hello, Just Mau Mau. Welcome to the stream. Hello, ROA. Welcome to the stream. Alright, guys. I am going to go this way. Actually, what's in here? Anything useful? No. Tell you what, we're going to go back a second, actually. I need to plug my laptop charger in. How are you, ROA, by the way, and how are you, Mau Mau? Welcome to the stream. Right, I'm going to go this way a minute. I've got, I'm meant to be on break, but, I'm going to go this way. So I've got a really cool build idea that I want to make. And I need to do it here, guys. My Minecraft world turns 10 years old in a couple of days. It turns 10 years old in 3 days. So I would really like today to build stuff from my ideas world. That has basically been on my ideas world for years. I'm in Rome getting tours of universities. Ah! That's a place I've always wanted to see, to be honest, Rome. Because of its history. Is that something you're actively considering then, like going to university? What I want is some of this. I need some of that. I need some red sandstone as well. I'm gonna sneeze. Hello, Rosalind. Welcome to the stream. What am I looking for, guys? Oh, okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. Where's the red sandstone? There we go. Hello, Vortex Rivals. Welcome to the stream. Right, so look for diamonds. We have diamonds. We do have diamonds, but that's not what I'm looking for right now because I've come over here for a very, very specific purpose. I've come over here because I want to make a swimming pool. I want to make a swimming pool, but like one of them ones you see at the beach. So that's why I'm here. I'm just trying to find... We've got a chest full of light blue concrete. That should be enough. What is this? This is my survival world. Have I got any dirt on me? I do not. Good, because I need to go 21 blocks. I need to find out how big 21 blocks is. Tell you what. Why don't we build this in the town? Oh shoot, I just missed. I missed the path. Why don't we go to my town area, guys, and have a look where we could potentially put this. It's not very, this build itself isn't very long. It's 21 block. Hello bees, welcome to the stream. Oh, pardon me. It's 21 blocks long. It's only like 12 blocks wide. There's an absolutely beautiful spot that I'd love to shove it in. Unfortunately, it's not going to fit here. But it could fit here. Thanks, can I help? I'm playing Legacy Console Edition, I'm afraid, which is not a non-crossplay version of Minecraft. I just want to chop down all this wood. I have Minecraft. How long did it take? This Minecraft world is 10 years old in 3 days. It's 10 years old on Saturday. I see Everton made 5 signings. Well, at the moment, I'm still holding on to hope they sign Jack Grealish. I'm not exactly got any hope. I don't exactly want them to sign Liam Delap. But, because I don't think Liam Delap's that good. He does come up with goals, but Liam Delap, ROA, seems more likely to have a wrestling match with defenders than score goals. I think with Liam Delap, I always get the sense of when he's playing, I always get a sense that he's more satisfied with showing that he's strong than scoring goals. I actually think Barry's up for it this season. I think Tiano Barry's going to be good this season. Because Tiano Barry in pre-season has scored a few crucial goals. Everton looked quite good attacking in the pre-season games. So I'm actually... It's one of those... You could say the same about Lukaku back in the day, to be honest. Romelu Lukaku, while he scored loads, he was just fast and strong. And because he was fast, he used to get loads of goals. Oh, look. Okay, look at the sub count. Thank you for subscribing, everybody. That's really kind of you. We're aiming to hit 10,000 by the end of the year, which would be amazing if we could do that. Because this is Legacy Console Edition, Zelik. This is Legacy Console Edition. Netherite was added after this got discontinued. Netherite got added 18 months after this was discontinued. But even if I had this word on Bedrock, I'd have Netherite within a few hours. Hello, Benjamin Goodsell. Welcome back to the stream. So I'm thinking about building. I need to look at my screenshot a second. So I'm going to open up my screenshot here. I'm going to put the screenshot in a place on my screen where I can still read your comments, guys. I took a screenshot of the build in question because I just want to have a look about how big it is. And let me just make this a tad smaller. So, first of all, let's make a line where we want it. Might as well do it straight from here. I didn't see how big that was, to be honest. I wasn't really... I have bedrock. Yeah, that's... Yeah, this is the Legacy Console Edition. This is before the Bedrock Edition happened. How many blocks was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I want to get that sand out there, actually. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But I want to recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, that's how big it is. So now we can worry about this other little bit. This version was only given to fat Make-A-Wish kids like Joe. I wasn't fat. Actually, I wasn't fat when I bought this game. Actually, true story. How many did you travel so far? Do you mean how many? Do you mean how many days have I done so far? Almost 12,000. But this game doesn't really calculate it. So I need to, before I do anything, I need to mark this bit out first. Because I believe this is 4 blocks deep. If I recall correctly, I believe this is 4 blocks. Right, okay. Just give me a second, everybody. 4. Then we got to go along. Have you been to the end? Many times. We don't like Englishmen. That's because of World War II. We kicked Italy's ass. I'm joking. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I believe it's, hold on, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it is 4. Oh, it lines up totally with the path. That's good. That is very, very good. It lines up oh shit. We got to be careful. Luckily for us, though, in a way, guys. Luckily for us, in this, in a sort of like super kind of way. In a super kind of oh, behind the set. That's all right. Well, they didn't change to the Allies. The only reason they changed to the Allies was because the British were invading. It's a really amazing thing that, yeah, Italy in the Second World War were really interesting. They only changed sides. Because a certain Italian leader got ousted. But the only reason they got ousted was because Sicily. Sicily at the time, the Allies believed that it would take, I think it was 5 months. The Allies believed it would take 90 days to take Sicily, which, as it turned out, the Allies needed just 38. I think it was 30 something. It was something ridiculous. Which, as they said, that's why I find history so amazing. Yeah, the Allies thought it would take 3 months to take Sicily, when in a crazy speed of events, they had Sicily within within a month, which is just amazing. It's an amazing bit of history that it's a bit. I'm gonna sneeze. It's an amazing bit of history that it took just 3 months. It took just a month on a 3-month campaign. But you're right. They did want to be the big strong people, which is why they chose the Allies eventually. Have you ever heard the story of Saint Nazaire? This is the story of Saint Nazaire. The story of Saint Nazaire. The British sent commandos in, and the commandos instead they'd been gunned down, and the only way to escape off this island was through a bridge controlled by about 500, a few thousand Germans, and all the commandos did was just line up and charge. They'd been shot at, some of them were wounded, and they charged. It's crazy. It's actually so crazy because you have 8,500 subscribers. Yeah. But a lot of my subscribers come from other parts of the world. So for all my Australian viewers, it's like late at night now. For my American viewers, it's early in the morning. You have my like. Thank you. That's really kind of you. Right, let's just break this bit a sec. Because I picked up all the sand. That's what I tried to do. I tried to make sure I picked up every bit of sand. P.S. I'm American. Yeah, I said it's early in the morning in most places in America. So we're not going to get every person... Oh, sorry, Aura, why your comment didn't appear for me? I played one of the battlefields where I think you play as either... And you attack Italian chosen boats with tend to have turrets lined up shooting like madmen. Yeah. It's actually commonly true during the Second World War as well. The Germans and the British had the British had all but defeated the Germans and the Allies. The Italians in a. Yeah, because I have a lot of people watching from other parts of the world, I need to go and go to this chest because I've picked up loads of stuff. I've picked up loads of dirt and sand from this, and it would be worth me having a bed right now. Where's the nearest bed? Is that... let's go this way. I don't know whether that house was closer. Not all Americans are £250. Bloody hell. I meant African. It's alright. Oh, my nose. Sorry, my nose is a bit sore. Yeah, I said I've got loads of people watching other countries, so the reason we have low views sometimes is... because it depends when I start the streams. Depends when and where I start the streams. What have we got in here? Anything? But a lot. Wow, the average American's like 200. The average American's around about 200, I think. And that's just the average. But I will say the average Britishman's not that far behind. The average Britishman's about £15 behind. If we leave in 13 minutes, people will join from different countries. Yeah, it's Always happens. That's how... Oh, my nose! There's a creeper right there. And he just blew up and he killed me nearly. I'll repair this. I will repair this later, guys. But I will say, though, I survived on 2 hearts. So the first thing I will do now, actually, is the digging. It's only 174. Huh. So, British people tend to be a little bit heavier then. Only men, like, yeah, but that's the same in the UK, really. It's much lower for women in the UK than men. But I suppose, though, it's a warmer country. It's a warmer country, though, so I expect people in Italy probably lose more weight naturally. It's a warm... Is that true, guys? I'd imagine so, because it's a warmer country, so I'd imagine people in Italy lose more weight naturally. Because of, obviously... Probably because England's cold. I was about to say that. Well, England's not cold. It just happens to be... Yeah, well, that's as soon as you said it, it was like, well, you know, Italy's on the Mediterranean, which... The Mediterranean largely always stays warm. Well, the Mediterranean's a really interesting one, in my opinion. If you were to dam the Mediterranean, Sea, it would just disappear because of how, like, the weather works. The Mediterranean Sea is too deep. The Mediterranean is too deep. What am I on about? Sorry, I got sidetracked. The Mediterranean, yeah, the Mediterranean Sea, because of the way it evaporates, it evaporates before it can be replenished. So if you were to dam the Atlantic, dam Gibraltar, because I have lost a lot of weight in this summer, Bemers, I'll gain it all as soon as November hits. Bloody hell. Isn't that dangerous? Isn't that, like, I wouldn't say it's dangerous, I mean. Is that slightly risky, though, like, trying to put in all the weight back on? Because if you put too much on, do you have to go and resize all your outfits and clothes? Or... It's my hay fever. It's my hay fever, basically, because of the way I slept last night, guys. Because of the way I slept last night, my nose has blocked overnight, which I am alright. It is just, I need to unblock my nose, which I'll do in a minute. I just want to get this wall done first. When you hear that, guys, it's basically air trying to get out my nose. Well, one of my nostrils. I'll probably sneeze in a minute, which will... I'll probably sneeze in a minute, which will make me 100% better. Yeah, I'm not ill. It's just that my nose is a bit blocked. I do want to pick up all this sand that we've gathered because we could use it. Oh yeah. Because I remember you saying like last year you were 115 or something like that. I remember you saying that. I was like, well, if you go from like 90 something to 115, that's like 30 kg. I thought that's why I said you know, when isn't that like putting all the weight back on, isn't it? Like when you have to resize everything, but well, going to 97. 92 to 97 probably isn't anything. Oh, my nose. Sorry, guys. My nose has just been ultra itchy. We're going to go a little deeper. Might as well make use of this area. In a minute, though, we can deal with the bit that I want to do. We're going to deal with the bit that makes more sense to me. So, before we do anything, I need to get out. So I'm going to put this here for now. Actually, saying about weight loss, guys, I went down to 95. I went down to like 95 recently and then put it back on. Just going to brighten up my laptop. Yeah, I remember you saying. So I thought when you said about putting it all back on, I thought, you know, that's a massive dip. That's a massive weight increase. I still got some of the jungle wood from yesterday when we made that. So I'm going to use this a sec and make a chest. This is good. Makes sense. I will admit, when I was in college, because of how stressed out I was with like college work, I would go to McDonald's every week. I go to McDonald's every week with college, and I sort of stopped when I was in my third year of college. Because, well, it was my first year of uni. It was my first year of uni. I kind of stopped and I just bought like I'd always go to McDonald's, and I kind of stopped and I bought like stuff from like the college canteen. And I was sort of like, well, it got to the point I was 5 stone heavier than I was 5 stone heavier than, I think I was 21, and I believe I was 5 stone heavier than I was 16. Oh, sorry, my nose is a bit, no, 4 years. It was 2022. I realised I was about 5 stone heavier than I was 4 years before. And it was like, probably shouldn't go every week. Yeah. Which, to say what 5 stone is, guys, 5 stone was half of my body weight back then. When I was 16, 5 stone was half of my body weight. So, because of like college, stress of college, going to McDonald's every week with when I was in college, I I put on half of my body weight, which was not good. I don't know how deep I want this at the moment. How many balloons do I own? What, Minecraft balloons? We've got a hot air balloon over there. There you go. It's just over there. Just there. You just can't quite see it. We can see it, just not a lot. That is true, 100%. Like I did some college work. This is about, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Actually, could be 4 now, because I technically I finished university a year ago. I had a assignment that was due in. This assignment that was due in this assignment that I had due in, guys, was hard. It was hard. It was real hard. And I think during that day, while I was doing the work, I believe I ate... I think I ate about... I ate, obviously, 3 meals, like you would normally do. You'd normally eat 3 meals. And then I think every half hour I had a snack of some sort. In fact, at one point, I ran an experiment. At one point, I decided to run some sort of experiment. So I did. So I weighed myself one day. I weighed myself, and I think I was 208. I think I was 208. 208 pounds, I think. And then the next day I was 213. So I put 5 pounds on overnight. Because of the stuff. Because of the snacks, obviously, because I was stressed out, I was doing my uni work. College work. I think I put on 5 pounds overnight. It was like, I'm kind of waiting to reach for you to reach 9,000 subscribers. Thank you. Yeah, we should hit it soon. It would be an amazing achievement, I think, to do. You've never weighed yourself. Wow. Oh, my nose. Sorry guys, my nose has been really sore today. I'm going to have to wait and do this one next. Well, they used to do... They've got a game called... they've got a game on the Nintendo Switch, and it's called... sorry, the Nintendo Wii U, sorry. It's called... it's called Wii Fit. And basically, it has to... It does weigh you. The game weighs you. And I did it once... Yeah, I did it once, guys, and I got a really funny story here. Although my brother got weighed recently, he's 7 stone at 9. At 9? That is very heavy. That is very heavy. I wasn't 7 stone till I was like... Seven stone at 9 is crazy if that's true. I wasn't 7 stone till I was like 14. I wasn't 7 stone till I was like, I don't know, 13. 7 stone is about £98. It's about £100. Tell you what, let's that end stone. Let's add an extra piece to that. Let's add an extra piece to that end stone. Yeah. What's kilograms? Kilograms. I don't know. 44 kg. It's 44 kg. But yeah, I agree, ROA. Talking kgs. Well, kg. The UK uses kg. The UK does use kg. Actually, ROA. Actually, in schools in the UK, they don't teach you kg until you're like in like schools in the UK teach you like stones and pounds first because they're the more British. They're the British measurements. It was the European Union that sort of bring in kg. That's why they do it. The UK government forced companies to go metric in the 70s. Douche, 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 douche. Was wanting to be unique. Well, that was the French. That was the French, actually. Pounds was used pretty much everywhere, and it was the French that thought, do you know what? Let's make our own unit of measurement. But it's kind of funny though. The French brought in kg, and the reason they did that. The UK obviously used feet and inches. That's why you know when you hear someone say that you know, for example, I don't know, I remember you saying you were like 6 foot something. That's why the UK used feet and inches. The UK used feet and inches. France decided to use their own thing. We are going to need some more stuff. There we go. We are going to need to go and get some more blue concrete. Yeah, every school is required to do it. Actually, I can tell you a funny story. If there was a girl in my school year when I was in like, I want to say year 3, year 4. Basically, a girl in my school year. She was only 24 kg. She was only 24 kg. Another guy got on the weighing scales, and literally we saw the weighing scales go from don't talk about, because YouTube does that now. YouTube auto translate comments for me. YouTube's brought in this feature where it would automatically translate, which I kind of like, really, because I can't read every single language. I kind of like that it does it, to be honest. So you guys can talk in your natural languages, and it will translate for me, which is lovely. Because obviously some people that watch the streams are using translators. I was flexing my French skills. If you click on it, though, it changes back to French. No, ne parles pas de mes François. Je mes François. Not very good at French, though. I'd never know how to say the words, but it does still say it in French if you click it. You can speak English and French. Fair play. And I would imagine Spanish as well, because obviously you're a Real Madrid fan. I did have to study French, I will admit. I did have to study French in school, but unfortunately my French teacher was a bitch. Well then, I'll speak in my language now. You have to follow him. Yeah, it automatically translates to... I speak 5 languages. Yeah, I remember you saying. Fair enough, because I can't speak one. Well, I can speak one. I can speak English, but I can't speak any of the others. Which, it's bad on my part. On my part, guys, it's bad. I can't speak any other languages bar English, which... I wrote that in Italian. That's English too now. Yeah. The auto-translate feature I really like. They brought it in recently because I was noticing people... But it's sometimes it translates comments that don't need to be translated. So some Tunic who watches the streams, he put dang the other day. He put dang. And basically dang automatically translated to something else. I know little Korean and little Japanese. I mean, I can say hello in Russian. That because I had to learn Russian for tiny bits of school, like a tiny I can say basically the only thing I can say is hello. I can say hello. My name's Joe in Russian. And that's basically when I was in school. When I was in school, I was forced to do this session thing where we interviewed a new teacher, a new prospective head teacher who was going to come in and be the head teacher. And this one lady who was vowing for the job, she walked in. This one lady, she walked in and basically she started teaching us Russian. So that they had to do like a bit of a teaching class for us. And she walked in and started teaching us Russian, which she only taught, in that time frame, she only taught us some basic stuff. And this lady, she didn't get the job, by the way. She didn't get the job. She taught us, the only thing I remember was that I learnt how to say hello, my name's Joe in Russian, which is Привет, меня зовут Joe. So, this lady didn't get the job, but she was applying for the job of head teacher. And so, another thing I know is Меня зовут Joe, which is basically Привет, меня зовут Joe, which just means hello, my name is Joe. So, Right, we need a bucket of water now, and then our swimming pool will be finished. What do you think, guys? Well, we're gonna have some of those bed things that they have. We're gonna have a couple of those. I will admit though, I have made it slightly deeper than I was going to. I have made it slightly deeper than I was going to. But I like it. And it literally is right next to the ocean. Cool. Right. I am going to go and take... I'm gonna make the ocean look like it's actually an ocean again, because that creeper explosion destroyed everything. That's what I believe. That's what I read, ROA. It's not the hair bit that he's actually talking about. It's not the hair bit that ROA's noticed. It's the bit that starts with F. You probably shouldn't know what one of those is. I need to find a bucket of water. I need to find a Minecraft bucket of water so we can fill in the swimming pool. Oh, sorry guys, my nose is blocked. Right. Give me 2 seconds. I'll literally be back in a minute. I made this round free to play last night, guys. I came back on last night and all the chests here were gone. Every single chest in the chest room had disappeared. Literally, it was one of the craziest little situations I'd seen. Thank you to the people who subscribe, by the way. We are 89 subscribers off hitting 8,600. As it stands, we are getting closer and closer to hitting our goal of 9,000. We are 489 away. We're getting closer and closer, guys. We just need to hit 489 more. Which is amazing that we're anywhere near doing it. Right, so let's just redo where I am right now. There we go. We're going to go through here. There we go. Putting as much water here as we can. We're going to fill up this swimming pool. We're going to fill this swimming pool up. I think it's going to look absolutely amazing. Guys, I'm going to finish this off, but I might have to... What's my favourite category? Category of what? What's my favourite... What category? What's my favourite film category? Book category? A category is a category. It's how you categorize something. Why would I answer that? Plus, why would you ask that? That's just weird. Those aren't categories. Those aren't categories. They are just... Those aren't categories. Those are, Anime's not a category. It's more of, Anime itself and K-pop isn't a category. It's more... So what, you know what kind of man I am? I'm an Everton fan. I need to find a Minecraft better set because it's too dark. I cannot see what I'm doing. Yeah, anime is not a category. Mau. Anime and K-pop are just because the category itself is animation. It's just a style of animation. Well, it's not even a style. It's just the name of animation in other countries. K-pop is just music, which music is the thing. Yeah, I watch. Oh, yeah. I do actually. I watch some shitting on the badge. And there's actually there's a side rant set, not a side rant, but ha ha ha. There's a comedy film. There's literally an Everton Liverpool comedy film. It's on YouTube. It was done about 10 years ago. It's actually on DVD. And the whole joke of that whole film is that the Everton and Liverpool fans hate each other. Everton and Liverpool fan, they live next door and they hate each other. So the Everton fan, he's got toilet paper that has the Liverpool badge on it, and it underneath it says LFC headed to Shit Creek. And and the scene itself is the scene itself is really funny, and he's just he's sat there on the toilet and he pulls out the Liverpool this paper that says the Liverpool badge and it says LFC headed to Shit Creek, and then you just see him go to, and you just see him drop it down the toilet, and it's like, it is a perfect scene. It's really, really funny. It says there's a mob nearby, but there isn't. There's another scene in that film where the Liverpool fan says that the Everton fans obsessed with their club, and then it cuts the next scene. He says Everton doesn't bother me at all, and then it cuts to him throwing a dart at the Everton badge. Throwing darts at the Everton badge. I love it. It's hilarious. They're obsessed with our club. Everton doesn't bother me at all, and then he's there throwing darts at the Everton badge. No, I don't watch ASMR because that's just weird if you do. Why would you want to listen? Why would you want to listen to people whisper? I just never I've never understood ASMR. I've seen clips of people do it, and it's like, it's just creepy. It's just creepy. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be doing a video when I talk like this and sound like I'm about to become something from the doll maker. There we go. Perfect. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Let's go that way. And let's line up that water there. So that water now should go over to the corner there and line up like a charm. Fantastic. So now what we want to do, start getting this water into here. So what I'm doing, guys, was we're lining up the swimming pool right here. We're going to line up the swimming pool here. Hello, Cora Lemon. Welcome to the stream. I have to disappear. My eyes swollen and half open. Oh. Get well soon. Have a good rest of your day. Right. Let's just go and finish off filling this swimming pool in. There we go. Perfect. It's done. It's not done. There's other bits. Sorry, what was your question, are we? No, I'm not. Right, I need some oak wood now to do this next little chunk. I need some of my pork chops here to eat that. And now our swimming pool has fit in perfectly. I want to put some sand here. And I'm going to tell a story here, guys. Just finished the page 5 of Genev. Cool. Are you enjoying it? What's just happened in the chapter, out of curiosity, that you're reading? Hello, Pixel. Welcome to the stream. Can't get out. There we go. So what's just happened, ironically? The guy died. Who's died? Oh. I was wondering what you're on about. That's kind of funny. I'm sorry for what I said in the chat last night, but I was absolutely crashing out because I couldn't get my stuff. You don't have to apologise. You didn't have to apologise. I'm going to tell you something now. Deceptive got pissed off as well. You don't have to apologise. Like, Deceptive got pissed off. And besides, you didn't aim it at me. You didn't aim the comment at me. Deceptive got pissed off as well because Deceptive was trying to do some stuff, and Deceptive did, yeah, go around and kill a couple of people as a joke. But the other two other people, who I have no idea who they were, I'd never seen them before. They went around and killed everybody, and that's why I was confused. What do you say? Pixel King just admitted he got frustrated because on my Minecraft realm, which I've made free for the week, I streamed it last night, and we had a guy join called Brad, and I don't know, I've never seen him before on the streams, but he basically just went around and killing everybody, and basically what he did is Pixel had taken a load of stuff to go and to like, you know, build something, and the guy killed him and basically nicked it all. I did want to know, though, where did all the chests go, Pixel? Did you see what happened to the chests? I went on there last night around 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I could not... all the chests were gone, so I could not find a single thing. Where did all the chests go, out of curiosity? Did you see anything? I joined in, and I was like, where's the chest gone? The whole front of the chest room is just... the chests are gone. I gotta be honest, I did that. I died because I didn't have any food, but I headed away to a house I built about 500 blocks that way. Hi, John, playing Minecraft. Cool. I came over here for a very specific reason. We just built this swimming pool. Why is one block lit up? That's weird. But I will admit, Deceptive got annoyed as well, because basically... in fact, I'll go to Discord and read out Deceptive's message to me. Sip some water, Joe. Haven't got any. Well, there's a cup over here. There's a cup over there. I might go get a cold drink in a minute. I'm just going to read Deceptive's message out a sec. Masabi is pissing me off. I need golden apples. Masabi's pissing me off. I need golden apple, sword, and diamond ass, and diamond armor ASAP. I can't be fucked. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, the other guy. Is the realm still up? Yeah, the realm's still up. The guy, but I will admit though, Pixel, straight after I joined and realised that Masabi was still there, I sort of after I left the stream, I sort of took away his I took away his permissions. Because yeah, he literally killed absolutely everybody, and I believe that he I believe he broke every single chest there. You're drinking Pepsi, cool. That's something I've never drunk. I've never drunk Pepsi. I don't drink fizzy drinks. Well, Decepted isn't. Decepted he trolls people. Decepted trolls people. So Decepted's always been the same. Some of you won't like Decepted, if you get what I mean. Some of you won't like Decepted because of the way Decepted is, but Decepted will troll people in games, but Decepted, you know, he does it for a laugh. So, you know, if he kills you in Minecraft, you know, he's gonna leave your stuff somewhere you can find it. How have you never drank Pepsi? Because it's not very good for you. I've never drunk it, but it's not very healthy. There was a video about 15 years ago where someone boiled it, and someone boiled Pepsi. They poured it in a bottle, they poured it in a pan, and they burned it. And they boiled it, and it turned into this black tar-like shit. And it's like, you know, that's what you're drinking. I've never drunk it because it's just not healthy. But and I will be honest, I don't drink. I barely know this guy. Yeah, the other two guys, I said I don't know who they are. The other two guys who joined, I don't even know who joined. But Decepted, the way Decepted is, Decepted will kill someone in Minecraft, but normally it's me, because he's a very good PvP player. But all the other people on there, I don't know who they were. So literally, I joined last night, and all the chests were gone from the storage room. So I was tempted this morning. I was tempted this morning. Do I put in a new copy? Because literally, all the concretes, all the wood, every single block, all the chests of wood here were gone. You got a question? Yeah. What is your question? All the andesite, all the bone meal, all the gravel, basically all the stuff all the wool, everything was gone. And I was tempted, do I put in a new copy? But it's like, some people have built stuff, so I don't want to point in the new copy. Yeah. And I came in here as well, and it was like prismarine shards, all the saplings, all the horse armor, everything was gone. I can't check out your first video now because I am streaming, but maybe we can check it later. I'm just gonna take some extra food. I need some beds, guys, so I'm coming over here really to get some wood. I don't know how many we're going to want, so we're going to want... Actually, no, we're going to want 9. So 3. 3. We're going to want red. I think 100% we're going to want some red. Actually, before we do anything, let's put these buckets back together. What have I got that I can get rid of right now? I thought, sorry, that's non-existent, ROA. I'm joking. I'm joking, everybody. Anyway. I knew you were going to say that, so I was already prepared to turn down the request. We might as well use this jungle wood to make it. to make the Minecraft beds, because I've got some of it. Magenta. So hold on, we got 6. We've got yellow. Where's the other chest? Have we got no blue wool? Right. Where do you make Minecraft beds from now? Boom. Boom, boom. Boom. Boom, boom. Actually, we're going to need 3... We're going to need some fences as well. There should be a chest here that says fences. We've only got 21. That's alright, we only need 3. Actually, no, let's not use red. Let's use a colour that we didn't use. Let's use green. Actually, no, let's use 3 colours. Let's use green, magenta, and there is another coloured chest over here. There is a random chest over here full of stuff. So, purple. Let's not use... Yeah, magenta. Not green. Yeah, let's use light green. Sorry, guys. I'm very bad at this. I'm very bad when it comes to Minecraft. I changed my opinion a lot. It's nighttime again, so let's quickly... Why don't we just sleep on that? I was literally going to go to that one on the hill, and I forgot we have beds on us. I'm an idiot. That creeper can't catch us. So, let's go over to here to the town area and finish off this build, eh? We are going to stream on the Realm again today, guys. A little later on. So, no, let's use red here. So, then we can see what we can do. There we go, one of these. No. Now, one of these goes here. Well, it auto translate. It also translates. If I was Indian, it would auto translate to Indian. Actually, no. In India, they speak a lot of English. Let me think of a better example. If I was Chinese, it would translate to Chinese, but it's because I'm English. It auto translates to the It auto translates because I am English, so it will automatically translate to my language because I'm English. That's why it auto translates to English, because I am English. Well, you have Chinese simplified. I did realise that afterwards, but that's why I said Chinese, because Chinese, they call it... They do tend to call it Chinese. There we go, guys. But there's many. What? The standard form, but there's still others. That's why I said Chinese. Because they do call, even though it's called Mandarin, predominantly people just call it Chinese nowadays. That's why I said it. Yeah, I know it's Hindi, but China, for example, they just call it Chinese nowadays. Because you've got a billion people saying it, and it comes from the country of China. They just call it Chinese. But yeah. There it is. There's our swimming pool done. I'm quite impressed. I'm actually quite impressed with that. No, it was called something else. No, I think it was called that. Well, it had many different names. It had many different names over different parts. But it was the Mughal Empire for a long time. It was the Mughal Empire for a long time. Hindustan was name. Hindustan was a name. That's what they called it. When it was the Mughal Empire, they called it Hindustan. But in the outside they just called it the Mughal Empire. Yeah, but it had many names. It's the same as the UK. You know, in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Great Britain, Albion, Britannia, Breton is another one. The land of the Brits. Breton. Gross Britannien is obviously what Germany called it. You can't quite see it here because there's those gaps there, but I actually really like that little swimming pool. Tell you what, we might as well turn all this into sand. Ha. But I think it's grobs actually, but that would mean great. And that was the German word for great. I mean, it could be worse. Could be the Romans. The Roman bathhouses. The bathhouses in Rome. The Roman bathhouses stayed open for thousands of years, and they only closed them in the 15th century because they sort of realised about how unsanitary they were. The Roman bathhouses back in the day weren't very clean. Tell you what, but I'll tell you what though, back in the old history days, back in those historical times, they used to think that bathing caused illness. So Queen Elizabeth I reportedly bathed only once a month. Queen Elizabeth I reportedly bathed once a month. back in them days, they believed that bathing caused illness. So they would only bath once a month. So it is said. So it is said that Queen Elizabeth I only bathed like once a month. Which is just crazy. I'm going to turn this area into like a little bit of a beach area. Only about till about here though. No, it wasn't Charles, the Fat King. He wasn't actually fat. He wasn't actually fat at the start. Henry VIII, in his early reign, was only about 210 pounds, and he was really, really tall for that history. When was the last time I crafted a dispenser? When was the last time you crafted a dispenser? When was the last time I crafted a dispenser? I gotta be honest, Pixel, probably about 5 years ago, because I might have duplicated them. Instead of crafting them, I might have just duplicated the one I had. But there is a chest. There is a chest full of dispensers. On my realm, guys, there's a chest of dispensers, but I don't know if the chest is still there. Because a lot of people did make Henry VIII. Henry VIII. Well, he wasn't called Henry VIII. He was just called Henry. But when he became king, he wasn't called Henry VIII. That wasn't his name. He was called Henry. But it happened to be that when he became king, because he was never meant to become king. The only reason he became king was his older brother died 6 years before his father died. So he became the new king of England. He became the new king of England, and he was a fat king, but he wasn't fat at the time. He wasn't fat when he took the throne. He was about 15 stone when he took the throne. So he was 210 pounds when he took the throne. And he injured himself. Henry VIII injured himself in a jousting competition, and later in life, his injury basically hurt him badly. Henry VIII's injury, his jousting tournament thing, it made Henry VIII not be able to do as much, so Henry VIII turned to eating. Henry VIII had gouts and stuff towards the end of his reign. So I keep hearing monsters. We got monsters, but we don't have any monsters. Unless there's monsters in that cave, and I'm going to have to go and fix that. But yeah, Henry VIII, guys. Could he still duck? Well, Henry VIII, what happened was he injured his one leg. He injured his one leg in a jousting tournament, and it meant that he could no longer do stuff later in life. So in his late 30s, in Henry VIII's 30s and early 30s, he couldn't do as much. So all he did was eat. So yeah, Henry VIII, when he died, was £400. He was £400, and his last suit of armour, you know when they I mean, of course he could do that. I mean, well, yeah. By the time he died, you know when you have to, when you buy clothes, guys, and you've got to have like a tape measure put around your waist to obviously see how big your like belly and stomach is to obviously to make sure you're getting the right size clothes. So then they got to make sure you get the right size clothes. They got to like measure your like waist and your shoulders. Henry VIII was so big towards the end of his reign. His last suit of armor was 52. The waist was 52 inches on the armor. The last suit of armor of Henry VIII, his waist was 52 inches. So, I'm going to have to change that to centimeters, aren't I? So his, basically his waist was 132 centimeters. Well, yeah, Henry VIII was 400 pounds at the end of his reign, which when he was in his early 20s, he was only 210. But well, it didn't help what they drunk. Well, the thing is, though, as well, Henry VIII, in the end of his reign, Henry VIII was also really tall, though. Henry VIII was really tall in his youth. Henry VIII was born in 1491. He was born in 1491, so like the Spanish bloke hadn't even found what is now America yet. Henry VIII was born in 1491. At that time period, the average Englishman was only 5'8". The average Englishman was only 5'7", 5'8". Henry VIII was 6'1" in a time when most people stood shorter than 6 foot. The average person in England at the time was about 5'7" to 5'8", about 172 centimeters. Yeah, he was 6'1", 6'2", which back at that time period you could see him coming for a mile. That's why they said Henry VIII, you could always see him, because literally in a crowd he just stood out. Yeah, considering the old times, which as well, that's why they say Henry VIII was really athletic. Henry VIII in his early 20s was really athletic. He was lean. He was 95 kg, 215. He was 15 stone, which is 210 pounds, exactly 95 kg. He was 90, which at 6'2", that's pretty athletic. It's not overweight. It's fine. It would be like, the average person back then, and that was the nobility. The nobility was about 5'8". The more poorer parts of England at the time, they were like 5'4". History is amazing. Tell you what, he wasn't the tallest king though. He wasn't the tallest king of England. The tallest king of England was Edward IV. Edward IV was ridiculously tall. Edward IV, I think it was Edward IV. Might be Edward I, actually. No, Edward IV. Edward IV. And ironically, that he wasn't the tallest king ever. The tallest king of England was actually Edward IV. Edward the Fourth was a few decades before. Edward the Fourth was King of England. No, that's the 6th. It's IV, isn't it? Yeah. Edward the Fourth was King of England from 1471. Sorry, no. Edward the Fourth was King of England from 1461 to 1470 and 1471 to 1483. He was King of England for about 20 years. He was 6'4.5" in that time period. Yeah, Edward the Fourth was 6'4.5". He was 194 centimeters. Yeah, Edward the Fourth was 6'4", and that was in the 1450s. And that was in the 1450s, 1460s. The average person back then was like, I don't know, 5'3". It's amazing history. In fact, the tallest monarch might be the current heir to the throne's son. But yeah, what was I'm gonna go and look at that in a minute. It's amazing. Well, the average height, it was actually thin. The average height of an adult man in England was 5'8" to 5'9". That was in the medieval period, though. And then it dropped down. It did drop down in the Middle Ages. No, that's Edward the Confessor. Edward the Confessor is not classed as wasn't classed as a king. He was the King of England, but as soon as William the Conqueror, Edward the William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror basically, all the monarchs that we have now, William the Conqueror basically wiped all that history away. So Edward the Confessor was not classed as Edward the First. That's why Edward the First was on the throne. Edward the First was named after Edward the Confessor. And then you had Edward the Second, Edward the Third. Edward the First was called Longshanks because he had long limbs, but he wasn't that tall, I don't think. But Edward the Fourth was 200 about 200 years later. Edward the Fourth was about 400 years after Edward the Confessor. Edward the Fourth was about 400 years later. So yeah, William the Conqueror, basically, we don't know much about those kings. Edward the Confessor, we don't actually know much about. We don't actually know much about him because the Normans, when they invaded, it's actually common knowledge though that England would have defeated them. Yeah, it's one of those. So he picked somebody else. William the Conqueror thought he deserved the throne, but Edward the Confessor kind of wanted William to succeed him, but they didn't want a Frenchman. The English courts, the royal court didn't want a Frenchman. Yeah, the king versus the conqueror. Yeah, so Harold Godwinson was put on the throne. Harold Godwinson's brother, Todfig, and the king of the Vikings, they invaded the country together. So Harold So Harold Godwinson had to go and fight 2 different battles. So basically, they would have beat the Normans, but it happened to be they were knackered. They had to fight 2. They had to fight 2 different invading armies at exactly the same time. If they had won, imagine if they had won that battle. You know, it would have been the greatest victory in history. It would have been the greatest military victory in history. Vikings are so random. Yeah, the Vikings were weird. Like, they would invade. They would invade all the time. But we always used to repel them eventually. I mean, the Vikings were marauders. The Vikings were marauders. You know, they were. They just turned up places, and just pillaged. What show did they do on BBC? They did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. King and Conqueror. I know. It was a BBC show. It was a BBC show. I remember seeing bits of it because they got in trouble in the UK because they had people dressed. They cast some black actors as knights in William the Conqueror's army, which technically they got that wrong because there wouldn't have been at that time period. There wouldn't have been. There wouldn't really have been like people who were black in Europe at the time, because the transatlantic slave trade was centuries in the future. Yeah, so they kind of got that wrong. They kind of got that bit wrong. But it's not as bad as some of the other ones they did. They did a drama a few years ago where they cast a black actress as Henry VIII's wife, which was totally wrong in my opinion because she's a real historical person. Anne Boleyn was genuinely a real woman. I just don't get how you can turn around and do that. If Henry VIII wasn't a... If the story of Henry VIII was fiction, it wasn't. I can't remember what TV channel it was. It was it was one TV channel. It wasn't the BBC. It wasn't on BBC. But Henry VIII. If Henry VIII was a fictional story, yeah, you could get away with that. But it wasn't. You know, Anne Boleyn was a real woman. Yeah, 100%. Actually, the way I described it to someone to a friend of mine was that's like making a film about Nelson Mandela, Mandela, and making it and then casting a white man to play him. I mean, it's like casting, I don't know, it's like doing a film on Mandela and then casting Brad Pitt to play him. You've got to, if you're filming if you're doing a drama or a film on a real historical person, you've got to get it right. You've got to cast someone that, you know, suits the bill. So I think casting a black actress as Anne Boleyn was just wrong because she's a genuinely real person in history and she was white. But it'd be like doing a film on Nelson Mandela and then casting a white actor to play them. Which I think it's wrong on all levels. So, you know, whatever it is, it's wrong. Yeah, exactly. Like making a film about George Washington and then basically casting casting anyone. Yeah, I don't agree with it. When it comes to I don't care if there's a book character and they're like, white. I don't care if they cast like someone that's like Asian, black, or whatever. I just don't agree with it when it comes to like real historical characters. I think Doctor Who did it as well. I think Doctor Who did it, which I didn't agree with. I think they did it. They did it with Isaac Newton, Doctor Who. Well, they did it in Doctor. They did it in Doctor Who. Actually, they had Isaac Newton appear because the Doctor in Doctor Who, he's a time traveler, but they cast a. I'm not sure what like ethnicity the guy was, but they cast someone that wasn't the right. The guy obviously played Isaac Newton quite well, to be fair, but I think it was wrong to not cast someone that sort of look like him, because if you're casting a historical character, I think you've got to get it right. If you're doing like a historical thing, you've got to get people 100% right. I saw a real funny joke the other day, and it said, I saw a joke the other day, and it was about Christopher Nolan. It was 8:30. Blink. Now it's 9:30. I wish it was 9:30. In fact, I wasn't even up at 8:30. I wasn't up at 8:30. I was working on some stuff last night, and I've started watching all the Marvel films again because I want to watch them all before Doomsday comes out. So in the last couple of days, I've watched Thor, Captain America: The First Avenger. I've watched Avengers. I've watched Thor: The Dark World last night, and I started watching Captain America. Thor: The Dark World is a bad film. Thor: The Dark World is quite promising, but the problem is they don't give. Ironically, they cast Christopher Eccleston as Malekith, the elf. They should have gave Christopher Eccleston more lines, because Christopher Eccleston is a really, really good actor. Christopher Eccleston can play really dark characters, and he's really good in Doctor Who. He plays a really dark version. He plays a really dark incarnation of Doctor in the Doctor. In Doctor Who, he literally says to the Daleks, he goes, no, it means no, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rescue her. I'm going to rescue Rose Tyler for the middle of the Dalek fleet, and then I'm going to save the world, and then just to finish off, I'm going to wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky. The first Avenger is really good. In fact, I was watching it. I keep watching it. I watched it recently, and I watched it the other day, and I suddenly realised that there's a Doctor Who actor in it before they were in Doctor Who. I realised that Jenna Coleman, who played Clara in Doctor Who, I didn't realise that she was in that film. She's the girl that's Bucky. She's the girl that goes with Bucky and Steve to the expo. I suddenly realised, I was like, like. That's probably her first major film, because nobody had really heard of her until she played Clara in Doctor Who. Well, I mean, you always need engagement on ads. One of my favourite adverts ever in the UK is quite a bad one. They did an advert a few years ago where a car crashes into a load of children, like on top of them. But basically, it wasn't aimed at like scaring people. It was aimed at drivers, like about not speeding. So they made it look like a car had basically sped around a corner, hit the wall, and gone through the wall and hit a group of children playing in a play park. And I think that's a powerful advert. Like, you know, slow down. Don't speed around bends. First Avenger's a good film. Thor the Dark World is bad, but I think the problem with Thor the Dark World was because there's not much storyline. There's not much storyline in Thor the Dark World. You know, Thor, it starts with Jane Foster going into that thing, jumping through, finding the ether, also known as the Reality Stone. She finds the ether, also known as the Reality Stone, as we later find out. And then we find out. And then we find out that I'm also tempted to eat chicken nuggets for breakfast because we got a ton of them, but at the same time, it's healthier to eat cereals. I mean, I used to do that, to be honest. I used to eat cold chicken nuggets left over from on a Sunday. I used to eat cold chicken nuggets for breakfast from a Saturday night. I used to do that. I gotta be honest though, I once had crisps. I didn't have anything for breakfast. I haven't actually ate anything today, you guys. It's almost 4 o'clock. I've just not ate anything. I just haven't been hungry today. In fact, but it's one of those picks as well. Like, all food is healthy to a point. Even like really healthy food is it healthy? Why are you so jolly? Well, normally if you see someone called Rosalind, ROA, normally that does say that they are a female. I still sometimes do that. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to build, guys, but in the last couple of days, I've built a house, I've built a swimming pool resort. I'm literally going through. There's a zombie at my nan's door, and she can't even get out the door. Zombie, it's gonna go and kill the zombie. Sorry. But yeah, guys, so over the next couple of days, what I'm gonna do with when I do these streams, I'm gonna find a random build from my ideas world. First female in the stream. No, we have loads of females watch the stream. I like it though, because my streams used to be like my YouTube content used to be like 98% male, and I'm like, come on, I want this channel to be like, accessible to all. I'm like, come on, and I wanted to lower the number. I wanted to lower 90% more like to like 60. Kill the witch. Burn her estate. Salem witch trials. Ironically, the Salem's in the United States, but the Salem witch trials is technically British history, because America didn't exist at the time. Actually, guys, for all the American audience, some of your states I can't even pronounce. I could never say Mississippi. I could never say it. There's a couple of your states which I found hard to pronounce because it's kind of spelt like gibberish. I'm like, how do you even pronounce that? Arkansas, I used to think was Arkansas doesn't even. Arkansas, I could not say. It's literally spelt. It's not even. It doesn't even say Arkansas. It literally is spelt as Arkansas. There's no W on it to make it a saw. I mean, Illinois. Illinois is another one. Like, there's an S on it, so it's actually Illinois. I mean, Michigan is exactly how it's spelled. Oregon's an interesting one. Oregon's actually British named because Oregon was part of Oregon should be part of what is now Canada. But basically, Oregon and Washington states were actually one big state, and they were British controlled. They were actually owned by Britain, and America sent loads of troops there, sent loads of people there to basically force the British out of Oregon. And they wanted Vancouver Island, so the British sent troops to Vancouver Island to stop America taking Vancouver Island, which is why Vancouver Island's part of Canada. It's why Vancouver's part of Canada, not America, because the British put troops there to stop the Americans from like forcefully taking it. Imagine if Apple made a graphics card. Apple is a good computer. They're just overpriced in my eyes. But I remember what you said the other week, Pixel King, about Steve Jobs being not a very nice guy. But and something I could say there is every big tech company's the same. To be successful in business, they have to be ruthless. Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that basically Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that that made Facebook, he shafted his own friend and basically forced his own friend out of Facebook. Are you in Canada? No, I'm not in Canada. I'm very much British. But Canada was once part of Britain. Canada has only existed for the last 90 years. Canada at the time was just called something else. It was called I think it was called British Columbia. Well, they didn't fight us out. We fought ourselves out. We stabbed ourselves in the foot, really. Are you English? Yes, I am. Have I ever been to this guy's channel? No. In fact, the Americans only won the Revolutionary War because Britain were trying to stop. Because Britain were focusing on India. India at the time was seen as far more important than America. The 13 colonies was literally insignificant when it came to other parts of the British Empire, which is why there wasn't as many troops. In there. Which is why there wasn't as many troops. Which is why Britain didn't send many troops to what is now the United States. It's because they were focusing on maintaining other parts of the British Empire that were far much more important to the British Empire. It would have been far worse for the British Empire if they'd have retained the 13 colonies and lost India. India would have been far more damaging than losing the United States, what is now the United States. I cracked up with Saberblade when he was on the stream the other day, and he said to me about something to do with history. He said about the only reason the British were able to burn down the White House was because Canada was invading. I was like, well, why was Canada invading? Because you marched into Canada. You marched into Canada and then burnt down loads of government buildings in Canada. So the British sent troops in and they just burnt down the White House in retaliation. I did crack up when Blade Saber said that. About So he was right, yes, and Canada did invade the United States, but he missed out the fact that the United States marched into Canada first. Yeah, literally. Well, India probably should have that power though. India probably should have that power. India is a much bigger country than the United States and got a much, much higher population. So it's true. Yeah, Blade Saber's in the stream. He said about America, Britain burnt down the White House in 1812. But the guy in the stream said they only did that because America was focused on stopping Canada invading. And Canada was invading. But he missed out the point that America started that war by invading Canada. Which is kind of funny though. But yeah, the War of 1812 was started by the United States. And in fact, American historians say nobody won it, but all historians say that if there was a winner of that war, Britain had won it. Not as big as Russia. Well, yeah, but that's an overestimate. Half of Russia, Russia is a massive, massive country, but a lot of Russia is uninhabited. And plus, the population of Russia, Rosalind, is nothing compared to India. The population of Russia is 145 million. The population of India is 1.4 billion. India should be the most powerful country on earth. They should be the richest country on earth because they've got a huge manpower and lots of natural minerals. Russia isn't actually that big. Russia's a massive country on the map, but a lot of Russia's unpopulated. It's kind of like 80% of the Russia's population lives in the European part of Russia. The rest of Russia, the rest of Russia is 20 only 20% live across the rest of it. The vast eastern and northern territories of Russia is literally tundra, taiga, largely empty, with about 20% of only 20% of the population spread across that massive area. But it's not. America's right. America's right. America's what? The biggest country. Well, America's the most powerful country militarily. America's the most powerful country militarily, but you don't really know that because you don't know how big some of the other countries' militaries are because they don't reveal everything. For example, Great Britain's got Great Britain could be the most powerful military. Great Britain's got technology that's obviously they don't reveal. Great Britain invents technology all the time. The strongest. It's a bit different though. The strongest country can be anyone. America might not be the strongest. I don't know if it's the strongest country, but America like to portray themselves as the strongest. Every single country portray themselves as the strongest. That the strongest money, the strongest currency is not the US dollar. It's the Kuwait dinar. The three most strongest countries are the United States, China, and Russia. So the United States ranks because it's got a huge economy and their defense spending is off the chart. Every country, so America will say they're the strongest. So America says some really interesting stuff. There's a documentary, literally, Rosalind, called When Britain Nuked America Twice. America in the 1960s boasted that their defences, their nuclear defences were so good that nothing could beat them. So they asked the British government to basically test it. So the British RAF and the British Navy tested the American defences. And the British found a massive flaw in the system that 10 cities would have been nuked. If it had been a real war, Britain could have brought America to their knees. So really amazing documentary that Britain found a gap through the American defences, and they passed through without them noticing. And they even sent a picture to the US government of the Capitol building saying, like, sightseeing. They the British Navy, the British RAF, they found a massive flaw in the US defense system in the 1960s, and had it been a real war, Britain would have brought America to the knees. Just 10 of the most popular cities in America would have been nuked. They tested it in 1960, and they found a flaw which 2 cities would have been nuked. 2 cities would have been nuked in 1960. America asked them to do it 4 years later, saying that it was improved and better than ever. And then they found a completely different flaw that 10 nuclear powered planes would have got through. I think Washington, New York, Los Angeles, I think all those cities would have disappeared. It's amazing history, but America, in fact, is saying, "Oh wow, this we've found there's a massive flaw here." They didn't reveal it for 30 years. It didn't reveal that this took place till the early 2000s. There's a documentary called When Britain Nuked America Twice. And it's on YouTube, guys. It's amazing. Like, what the British did was just so clever. The British used Avro-Vulcan. Avro-Vulcan was a British nuclear powered missile. Nuclear powered planes. They were very, very fast. One of the best military planes Britain's ever produced. And they were so powerful, but because they flew in packs, they wouldn't discover them. Because they flew in packs, basically when they were detecting them, the electrical power of one would make the other invisible, and that was the flaw. So basically, because it was making a few look invisible to the other. Because it was making one look invisible to the other, some got through. Back in 1939, cool. Germany invaded Poland. Oh, hold on, I've memorised Neville Chamberlain's speech. Hello, Ghost 11YT. Welcome to the stream. I've actually memorised Neville Chamberlain's speech to the British people back then. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin. I am speaking to you from the cabinet room in 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin passed the German government the final note, stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, and a state of war would exist between us. And I have to tell you now that no such action has been undertaken, and subsequently, this country is at war with Germany. Imagine being there in 1939 when you hear that statement. Imagine being there in 1939 when you hear that statement. You hear the British Prime Minister saying, this country is at war. And the way he said it, it was like, because you got to think, in 1939, most people were, yeah, no, it's a little bit off. normally it says some other stuff as well. So for oh, hello, it's a bit off. My analysis says it's mainly 18 to 24-year-olds, but I just repaired that wall yesterday. I just repaired that wall yesterday, and a creeper had to. We need to put some torches down here, like ASAP. Yeah, I think it's always. It's like 13 to 16. It's like 13 to. It's like 13 to 17, mainly. There could be a few 70-year-olds. Never really seen one. I think the oldest person I've seen here was like. The oldest person I think I've seen in the streams is like 29. The oldest person I think I've seen in the stream is like 29. But I don't know. But YouTube's for everyone, guys. YouTube is for everyone. Oh, I got cramp. So yeah, like. Well, not everyone comments on the stream, so. Yeah. Well, it's weird. In the UK, it's weird. So obviously, when you're 16 in the UK, you leave school and go to college, and then you're in classes with people who are much older, because college years. College. Anyone can go to college. Anyone can decide to go to college. So basically, when I was in my first year of college, we were in a class. I was in a class with someone that was like 5 years older than me. So when I was in my first year of college, I was in a class with someone that was. They were 22. So I was 17, they were 22, so they were 5 years older than me. And we thought, me and a couple of other people in my class that were like 17, we felt that we were like, wow, that's so old. And then in like 2024, I was like, I'm the same age as he was like 5 years ago. And I sort of realised that, like 22 feels old, but it's like, but we had a guy in my uni class. Actually, this guy in my college class, he was 22, but he didn't look it. Well, no, he looked 22, but he was probably mentally about 15. Well, he was about 22. This guy in my class, he was about 22, but he was probably mentally about 12. He wasn't the full. He wasn't like nice. He was a nice guy. Just was very hard to. He was very hard to work with. Yeah, I found him hardish to work with. But look, yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, no, this guy, guys, he was a very nice guy. I found him very hard to work with though, because everything had to be done a very specific way. Imagine if you were though. That's some serious science. I thought there was a mob in here then. I mean, if she was, that would be some very... That would be some very... Oh, I didn't use jungle wood, guys. I used oak. If she was, that would be some very weird science. Time travel. That is some time travel though, because you put 4 in a star. Because you put 4 in a star, technically it looks like you said that he's 4. So you've got him. You were actually born in like 2050. You've come back in time. 30 years. Tell me, has Everton won the Premier League in that time, or am I going to wait for another 30 years and then find out that Everton haven't won anything? Can't see. That would be... Or it would be studied by the UK, by the UKSA, the UK Space Agency. Or the ESA, the European. It would be studied by the European Space Agency. Right. I need to go and get some more bricks now to repair that wall again. But I don't have a lot of bricks, so that's something to think about, guys. That's just funny. I found a load of clay here. Wow. Yeah. I did grab some snow, so we can technically quickly have a look at what I've got to do to repair this wall. One sticks out. Yes, it should say... That sword should say that sword should actually say Clamative's Spectacular Sword. But unfortunately, when I was 14, 13, whenever I created this word, I was a very shit speller. My spelling was very, very bad. My spelling was, if you guys pardon my language, everybody, but my spelling was not good. Right, okay, I got it. Looks like that. Fantastic. We now need... Yeah, I was very shit at spelling, so basically I went to say spectacular, and instead I put sectacular. For many years, there was a chest in this room. That's not there anymore. I'm going to quickly go down here. This house has a massive, like, subsystem. I think I like Stamp's Lovely World should return. Content like Stamp's Lovely World should return. Because nowadays it's all about grinding and building giant farms. Just get 20 views. Yeah. I said hot take. What? That's what I was inspired by. I was inspired by stuff like, oh my god. Let's nick the wood from here. I had to cut the fences on me. But that's what I was inspired by, so that's what I do. But I want to do some more YouTube videos. I just haven't had the chance to make any videos recently because I've just been so busy. I made one the other night, which I made one a few weeks ago, which I just need to finish editing. I made my old house, and basically I've had to split it into parts because that build took quite a while. But before we do this, I can quickly go in and add the floorings in here. But I need now to go grab some dirt to repair. Actually, we only need dirt here, really. Stamp's Lovely World, it'd be nice if he returned, but it's one of those, I think he was getting bored towards the end. That's just my take. But I got a sense that Stampy was bored towards the end. Towards the end of his like time and his content, I did get a sense that he was sort of... I do fill them up with something, but we got loads of houses. We got loads and loads of houses, so it's just, what do we fill them up with? But yeah, going on to that point, yeah, like Stampy, I think, was getting bored of content. Yes, I know where you are. I can go there. If we can go to that place so everyone else can see it. Yeah, which with Stampy though, you got to think though, he's now 36. He did Minecraft content every day for pretty much from 2012 to 2013. Stampy at the towards the end of Stampy's run, he admitted on he did a Tommy Innit, isn't his name? He did a podcast with him when he interviewed him. He interviewed Tommy Innit on his podcast, interviewed Stampy, and Stampy admitted about like the toll it took on him. He was bringing out a video every day. He was bringing out a video Monday to Friday all week, every week. And he said it was eventually it was unfeasible. You know, he was pretty much editing at the breakfast. He was editing at the breakfast table because he was shooting so much content. He was always a month ahead. Stampy was always a month ahead with YouTube videos. So any video you watch from here, any video that you watch from, if you watch, I don't know, a Stampy long-haired video, you realise that you sort of realise that every video he did was always a month ahead because he had so much content planned. It's amazing. What he did is amazing. Is this what you're talking about, Ghost? You're talking about this house. You're talking about this house here. And you can get in here, guys, via... Yeah, we are literally in the Nintendo Switch. That'll be useful. We'll take that. Anything else in here? No. We are not even there, guys. We're literally down onto this map. I built this in like 2018. In fact, none of this was here. This beach here I added recently. This was surrounded by jungle trees at the time. This was all jungle trees, and then I cut the trees down and decided to make a little beach cove here. And in fact, I'll show you something cool. If you go on this river takes you all the way back home. This river here, if we... Found the spectacular sword. Yeah. There's quite a few of those swords because I sort of copied them back in the day. Have you guys ever seen how shit Bedrock Legacy was? Mojang 4J were forced to edit it because Java and Bedrock at the time had an update where you had to make a shovel to make a boat because you had to make the ore as well. And now they've recently just got rid of it again. It was such a stupid addition when they added it. If you go through here, you go back. This river takes you all the way back home because if you go this way, around this lovely little house that I've built, around the summer house as it's called, and go around to here, we go into the little dock harbour area here. Then if we go around the corner right here, it takes you all the way back home. Which I made that little waterfall the other day. Can we go up the waterfall? Come on, let's see if we can do it. I think the boat will go underwater, but yeah, but cool though. You could actually get away from I'm stuck. There we go. We can have a bit of fun here. Tell you what, let's just break in a couple of those. Let's make that a little wider. Literally, guys, we could have so much fun here. This could be our own little water slide. Oh, I need to get to the river. Splash, 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 splash. Go through here. Turn. Turn, 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 turn. Go through here. We're in the river. Well, this is not a river, it's a lake, but in fact, if we go to here a sec, if I put a hole through here, and a hole through there, we'd line up to another lake. We could line up to all the other lakes. But I can't be bothered to put a hole in it, but Oscar II's house. Yeah, Oscar II. I built him that a year ago. No, might have been 2024 now, actually. I did it as a YouTube short, hoping that it would get 1 million views. It didn't. What are those light projector things? You talking about beacons or are you talking about glowstone? We're gonna have to. I don't know. We're gonna have to go to Oscar II's house now. Oh, you're talking about these? Oh no. Beacons. The light projector things are beacons. So basically, I've put that beacon I've put there, so we always know where home is. The idea is putting these beacons. We always know where home is. The purple one is my monument to celebrate 4,000 subscribers. My monument, the one with 4,000, the purple one is to celebrate 4,000 subscribers. The orange one is, the orange one's been there since like 2016. The purple one was built 2 years ago. This one here was, sorry, this was built 4 years ago. This one here was built 4 years ago, and the reason it's here is because I built this to celebrate hitting 4,000 subscribers. And we then built something to celebrate 5,000. We didn't do anything to celebrate 6,000 as it happened too quickly for us to plan anything, and then we hit 7,000 not that long afterwards. So I sort of waited until we hit 7,000 subscribers. So this was built to celebrate 4,000. The little stone, the stone one with the trees was built to celebrate 5,000. Nothing for 6,000, and then 7 and 8,000 we did Wii Fit as a joke, and 9,000, which is in 9,000, which is in 488. 9,000, which is in 488 subscribers time, where we don't know what we're going to do yet. To get the beacons to work in creative mode, you have to build it like this. You have to build one of these. In creative or survival, you have to have enough you have to have diamonds, emerald, iron or gold, or netherite in Bedrock Edition. Netherite will do it as well. Unfortunately, I don't have netherite in this world. I built a beacon of all 4 types, and I got that from SB737's 10,000 days world. He hadn't hit 10,000 days yet, but when I saw him build this, and I really liked what he did, so I basically built my own version on the Legacy Console Edition, just without netherite because I didn't have it. So we built this. We dug a huge pit here and built this into the garage. We had to be careful because I didn't know where the chest room is, because the chest room's right under. If I dig down here, I think the chest room's right under our feet. So you can't just stack a single block. No. Stacking a single block, a brock? What's a brock, guys? Stacking a single block won't work. That's sad. Luckily, there is more parrots about. There is more parrots about, so you can get another one. We have loads on this world. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, shit the bed is a very British quote for when stuff goes wrong. Yeah, shit the bed is a very British quote. It's literally when shit goes wrong, oh shit the bed. And basically, I get it from my mum. Basically, my mum used to, when everything goes wrong, my mum goes, oh shit the bed. That's funny though. That is funny. Yeah, there's a lot of British quotes that I use, guys, because I'm very much British. So I use there's a few ones that you guys would probably hear me say. Oh, I pissed off the Armenian guy who watches the streams because I said "oh God," which "oh God" is a very British thing for shark. It's a very British quote, and basically, and he keeps getting offended because I'm not religious and I say "oh God," but it's like, it's a quote in the UK. It's been used for centuries, decades. It's what, centuries. British quotes. Here we go. Let's find some British quotes. Business as usual was used by Winston Churchill during the Second World War. When all the shops were being bombed during the Second World War, Winston Churchill just said the words "business as usual" and basically told all the shops to open, and they did. So all the shops open with the sign, shops open with like holes in the roof, and they just said, we're still open, just more open than usual. You know, not many people would do that, would they? Not many people would do that. Oscar Wilde was another one, a novelist. Oscar Wilde, he was a British novelist. He said, "We have everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language." Douglas Adams, "In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and being widely regarded as a bad move." Winston Churchill, "If you're going through hell, keep going." "The English are not happy unless they are miserable." George Orwell. Queen Elizabeth I is my favourite one. "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king and the king of England too." That's a great quote. Yeah, we have villagers. I didn't even sleep in that Minecraft bed. But yeah, there's a few funny ones. A quid is another one, guys. Quid. A pound and a quid are the same thing. A quid is just slang for... A quid is just slang for money. A couple of quid. We all want a few extra quid at Christmas, so a few extra... there's a few. Oh. Can I see some what? I'm gonna fight. So here's some old slangs. Gobsmacked. If you tell someone you're gobsmacked, it means you're shocked or surprised. If you call someone a mucker, that means, if you call someone your chum or your mucker, that means friend. It's an old-fashioned word for friend. If you call someone a bloke or a chap, it means that you're talking about a male. A bloke and a chap. Basically, they it means if you say you've met a chap, it means that you've met a person. Villagers. We have got villagers, but they're far away. They're over here. Let's go. An arm and a leg is another one, guys. Basically, if there's something really overpriced, there's a slang for about things being expensive. So it'll cost you an arm and a leg to buy. That's a quote. That's a slang for like how expensive shit can be nowadays. I'm not buying that. It'll cost an arm and a leg to buy. I say that one all the time, to be honest. A little bird told me is another one. Obviously, when you find out a rumor. Let's look at some old British phrases. Oh, binman, or a dustman. A binman or a dustman is basically someone that goes around collecting the rubbish, or basically in the United States you'd probably call him a garbage man. Car boots, obviously that's the bit that opens up. In America they call it the trunk. Cheeky, another word for cheeky, guys, is another word for like when you are mischievous. Chop chop means fast, like when you're late, right? Chop chop, you're gonna be late. Cutting the mustard, never understood that one. Chuffed to bits means you're really happy, you're really proud. Don't give up your day job is basically when you tell someone that they're shit. If you do, say you want to be a singer and you can't sing, and you in the UK a very old phrase for that is "don't quit your day job." It's basically being polite and saying like you're shit. It's not gonna work. Don't quit your day job. Faff means like muck around. He's just faffing about. Fell off the back of a lorry. Never got that one. There's no use flogging a dead horse. I've been told this one before. Nintendogs. I know Nintendogs. My sister used to play it religiously, like in 2006. Yeah, arm and a leg. Yeah, arm and a leg is a British phrase. If you see arm and a leg's British. In fact, keep calm and carry on is British. Do you know what? Have you guys heard of keep calm and carry on? Yeah, the arm and the leg saying is traditionally British. Is a British And you guys have heard of who's Nightbot? Nightbot is a bot programmed by the streamer. So Nightbot is a website that basically moderates your streams for you. You tell it what you want it to say. So it promotes my Discord server, it promotes my streams and my novels. You guys heard of keep calm and carry on? I know, keep calm, carry on, and eat McDonald's or something like that. That's probably the American one. Yeah, it's basically, it helps moderate the streams for me. So yeah, saying what I was going to say, keep calm and carry on was British. It was the British slogan during the war. Keep calm and carry on was a campaign to keep going during the Second World War. Keep calm and carry on was a political slogan by the governments during the Second World War. It basically said no matter what happens, we fight on. So that's why it said keep carry on and drinking tea, because obviously tea was the major British drink. Yeah. I thought the 2DSs though, Pixel. I thought the 2DSs. I thought the original DS games. I thought the data was saved onto the disc, onto the actual card. There could be a way to get that back. I thought it was saved onto the card, not the Maybe it's the older DSs I'm talking about. But the DS games, the original DSs, it was saved onto the discs. The original DSs, the game was saved onto the little cartridges because I used to be able to play Lego Star Wars, give it to my sister, she'd plug it in, and then she could play on the same level. But yeah, going on to that point, there's a few. Keep calm and carry on was British during the Second World War. Flogging a dead horse means basically don't do what isn't working. Basically, that's what my mum told me when I said I was gonna write 7 Dawn of Planets stories. She went, "You're flogging a dead horse." Means it basically. She said you're flogging a shit story. I was like, "Bloody hell!" Going. I can tell you guys another one. Hanky panky. Basically, hanky panky is like shady behavior or behavior that a man and woman might do in a closed bedroom. Hanky panky is basically like when someone would say, like, I don't want to hear any hanky panky. So she doesn't want to. They don't want to hear anything shady. There's loads of weird British phrases. Hit the nail on the head. I say that one all the time. Basically, if you say something that I really agree with, the quote would, my quote there would be, the quote I would use there, the phrase I would use, you've hit the nail on the head. So I agree with what you're saying. But I once said hit the nail on the coffin instead. And it was bad because they were talking about the Queen's funeral and I said he's hit the nail on the coffin there. Knackered is obviously when you're tired. Kerfuffle is basically when you've got drama over nothing. Minted is obviously... Minted means you're rich. So if you're minted, it means you're rich. Nappy is basically... diaper. Not my cup of tea. I mean, not my cup of tea means that you're not up to it. It's not really what you want to do. Oh my giddy aunt. That means like that's another one for shock. Pip pip is basically, let's go quickly. Porcupie or porkies, that means that's lies. Like you're telling porcupines. You're telling porcupines. That means when you're lying. Rubbish, put a sock in it. Put a sock in it means like shut up. Skip just means like skipping something. Snog, another word. Snog is basically if you kiss someone. Snog is actually kissing someone. If you snog someone. Speak of the devil is basically when you're talking. Speak of the devil is when you talk about someone, and they arrive when you're talking. So speak of the devil. Steal someone's thunder. It's basically steal someone's thunder is where you take credit for someone's work. Stitched up is where you basically, you set somebody up to fail. So they stitch you up. Storm in a teacup is an overreaction. Telly is obviously when you watch TV. I'm watching the telly. Torch is obviously, you would call it a flashlight. We call it a torch. Trainers, obviously, you would call it sneakers, probably. Windscreen wipers. Windscreen wipers is obviously cleans the car windscreen. Wind up is when you obviously when you wind someone up, you like tease them. Can I see some villages? Yeah. Can you make a new world? Can't be bothered. This world's too cool to make a new one. Oh, here's a few. By Jove, Codswallop, Poppycock. Obviously, Poppycock and Codswallop means Rubbish. Tickety boo. Everything's fine and good in order. Chuffed. Gazooks. Brolly. Obviously, Brolly's an umbrella. Cheerio is basically a way to say goodbye. Cheerio. Cheer. Spiffing means excellent. Totally spiffing. This world is totally spiffing. It's totally spiffing, my dear fellow. I think I need a spiffing cup of tea. Yeah, we can go to a villager. Jacob the farmer villager lives in this little hut. See? He doesn't share his farm. He doesn't share his wheat with me though. And he does the seedings for me. See? And then if we go up, if we go upstairs, if we go upstairs and go over to here, we have Bob the Villager. This is Bob the Villager's house, which is why I've put a sign here that says Bob the Villager's house. And the reason I'm going to come in here a minute is there's a bed upstairs, so I'm going to quickly just sleep in it a minute. I'm going to quickly sleep in it. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. If you give him a bed, he won't just spawn. No, that is not this version. That's Bedrock. Minecraft villagers don't sleep in beds yet. Minecraft villagers didn't sleep in beds until the next update, until 2 updates time. Minecraft villagers don't despawn if they've got name tags. And plus, they don't despawn because they've got doors. Back in the day, it was whether the villagers had enough doors. Not beds. Minecraft villagers could not sleep in beds until 1.14. This is update 1.12. Yeah, this is update 1.12. So 1.12 was 2 updates before when they added it that Minecraft villagers could sleep in beds. I'm gonna go over here a sec. So the perception of what made a village was totally different. We're gonna go to the farm straight ahead sign. And we're just going to continue going. We're going to continue going for as long as possible on this path. Give me a sec, guys. My controller is... My mouse is being a bit... Oh my god. I've fallen down a hole. How have I done that? There we go. Perfect. I'll come out of here now. So, I've even put some signs over here to what stuff is. So, this is the sunken village. You can see like places where villager huts have sunk, and then these 2 have survived because those 2 have survived because they were propped up on stilts. That was just a cool build idea back in like 2022. I was thinking of really cool video ideas in 2022, and I was like, we're gonna build whatever we want. So, we need to go this way. This is the sheep pen. So, if I go into here quickly, this is the iron farm, which turning this into iron is very useful. What time is it for me? It's 12 to 5 at night. It's currently 12 to 5 at night. It's 12 minutes to 5, so going ahead. I'm going to end the stream in a minute, but then I'm going to restart streaming on the Bedrock edition a little bit later. I'm going to end the stream, then I'm going to restart streaming on the Bedrock edition later tonight. If I quickly come up here, that I can show you guys, basically all they need is doors. So we've got loads of villagers in here. All these villagers which are in here, these doors represent, because they can get to the door, because the doors are there, it becomes a village. I'm going to stream on the Bedrock edition tonight as well, but I'm going to end the stream in a minute because I've been streaming on Legacy for 3 hours and I'm a little bit hungry. I haven't ate anything for the whole day. So, thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll end the stream in a second. But this is what this iron farm works like this. So the only place naturally for the iron golem to spawn, because of these slabs, is they can get onto here, but they naturally spawn here. And because they spawn there, they go into the lava. Have I got silk touch? Let's risk it. There we go. I can't see. There we go. So, that's how it kills the iron golem. We get the lovely iron, which I've turned it into iron blocks. I've turned it into iron blocks so we can get a bit more space. Anyway, guys, I will end this stream. So, thank you for watching, and I will stream the Bedrock realm later tonight. So, thank you for watching.